So we've just got the 81 doubles and we are looking how to grind them. So they are quite expensive, to be honest, and to be fair, normally they are pretty good. Whether they will be this time, that is what we're going to test out right now. We have put a Varane in there, so if you're thinking that I've just accidentally put him in, don't worry, we got him as the duplicate. So we've got a couple of packs. We have got an 83 plus attackers pack for some reason as well. Don't know why that's in there. Hopefully it gives me somebody good. Probably not. Will it? English? Striker? Don't be Harry Kane. I've already got him. Brilliant. So that one's going into the bin at the moment because we have nowhere to put him. Unless he was tradable. So he'll be restored at some point, don't worry. I know I've got restores. But the 81 doubles, this is where I'm interested at. We've got two tradable packs from obviously the 83 times 10. Whether they bring anything in, that is just an extra bonus. But how do you grind these 81 doubles? Because they are 10 rare, 10 gold. It's as simple as that. There's no difference with them. I'm kind of hoping I get a road to the final at some point. And that is the only reason why I'd actually grind these. Purely for the fact, with the road to the finals, they upgrade. It's a standard, it's nice, it's what you want. Do we get anybody good at least? Brazilian, left wing, CDM, Casemiro? It's never Casemiro, it's always Fernando. Do we get two? 83, 82. So, in terms of these, I'm not a massive fan of 10 rare. It feels very much like how we do the league upgrades with obviously Team of the Year, Team of the Season. So it is a big ask, especially with all of the packs that they have given us over the weeks. So realistically, you just wanted to go in and absolutely slap as many gold rares in as possible. Will I do loads of these? Probably not. I will use these as a secondary really to the League SBC, and that is kind of the method we are going to be looking at today. So if we get all these in, we'll try one more just to see if we can get a walkout out of two. We got absolutely so much fodder out of that 80 plus player pick. They are normally my favorite. The player picks normally are way better. You get more options. A lot of the time, obviously, you only get one walkout that you can choose. De Bruyne? It's always Tillemans. We're always getting that. Are you tired of using players like this? I would much rather have teams more like this. Then I recommend going over to skycoach.gg for all of your coaching and coins needs. They are cheap, fast and reliable, but at the checkout make sure you are using code JT11 for a discount on your orders. Back to the video. So in terms of these, we've got 84 and 82. They are nice in terms of fodder builders. 83 to 85, I can imagine you will get a lot. So if you have got a lot of SBCs to go, or player SBCs to do in, there is quite a few at the moment. Diaby is a must-do, by the way, 100%. So the question is, I've got nothing in my club. Where do I go? How do I start? So it all depends on how many coins you've got to start with. I would recommend getting at least 50 to 100,000 coins if possible. Do matches, do bronze packs to sell the players. Just generically just start grinding through the game. Obviously, if you've not done qualifiers, that will give you some packs. You want to just get some golds in your club straight away. If you're thinking, okay, I've done my qualifiers, obviously Rivals is going to be a few days away. You've got lots of packs here that will give you a good amount of cards. You've got loads of, obviously, the road to the final. You've got all of these moments, academy players, that will all give you SBC players as well. Go and finish all of them. Make sure you are doing them. You've got a really nice one with, obviously, the Silver Beast as well. There is no reason why you physically cannot get gold cards in your club just from a basic standard. That will then give you some players to deal with, and what you want to do from there is go into the League SBC. It's a standard, we like it, it's easy. So I'm going to do this once over. We've already done Ligue 1, which I'll show you once I've finished this off. Lib is probably one of the more challenging ones if you are not directly comfortable with Libs. So we should have actually... Yeah, we do. We have a fair few, which is nice. So we are going to start rinsing all of these in. And what I'll do is I'll tell you at the end what we normally do if we don't have them. Did I have that team? I think I did. No, we didn't. Beautiful. So we should be able to get this done pretty easily. The one thing I'll always say with a Lib, with Boca Juniors and River Plate, always put them in. Even if you have got a comfortable amount of 75s to 80s from different clubs, always put Boca Juniors and River Plate in because you always get them back. There is so many golds that you just know that you've got so many of them already, and I think we are we got 8 exactly. In fact, that's even better. So for instance, what I do with this is you want to just find everybody in their position. You should realistically, with the fair few that I've got, get the absolute max chemistry that you need, and what I do from there is I'll just use some suds. Because we know we don't need necessarily any chem, we can literally just put the lowest of the lowest in and just make sure the teams are different, and that is it. It's as standard as that. What I normally would do is go with the suds, go then with the golds. Make sure you are checking the prices, because obviously people will come in more expensive and less expensive depending on the supply of that player. There may be a 75 lib that is coming in at 3,000, but then we look at the left back and he's 1,500. If we do a quick check with this guy, yeah, he's coming in at 1.5, probably a little bit lower. As you can see, very, very cheap to do. You normally have a couple of them, and if you haven't got any suds, then just go and do some bronze packs, and you'll be no problem at all doing that. So we've got the first pack done. We will open it up just to see if we get anything. Because this one's untradeable, then obviously we want to keep this. We do get a board out of it, and this is always naturally going towards everything that we are grinding for. A, the 81 double, and then B, anything more, like for instance, if you're trying to do the left back academy, obviously that requires an 82 rated team. So for instance, we've got all these, perfect. All of the untradables obviously go in the club. That is a standard. Any duplicates, put in the required SBC. If you've got a league SBC to do, whack it in that. If it's silvers that are untradable, put them in a silver upgrade. And finally, if obviously you've got some gold commons or something that's untradable, but nowhere to put them, then obviously put them in the gold upgrade and just keep rinsing and recycle, especially if they are untradable. Then we have the Prem one. Again, pretty standard. I don't feel like we'll have a lot of these. We might, oh, in fact, no, we might do, in fact. Let's go and see if we can do it from this order here. So we've got West Ham, we'll go with Southampton. Haven't got no centre-backs, which is always perfect. So Newcastle is there. Any CDMs, Arsenal and Fulham, perfect. Good. And then we've got Bernardo Silva, who most definitely is not going to go in there. And finally, we will go with Everton. I don't know if that gives me the chem. It does. But we need 2 more rares, so perfect. So that's actually really good. That helps us out more than you would know. So we'll go with, obviously, Wolves, Liverpool, Crystal Palace, Brentford, and I don't know if we chucked in Leicester or Leeds there, so we'll just whack them in as standard. We don't need any more chem, so that's fine. All we need now is the 79 rated. I feel like we might need somebody a bit more high rated, just because it looks like we've got a lot of 77s there. Yeah, we're 1 rating off, which is always nice. So we'll try Ericsson over Keita. Try him over... Perfect. And that's as simple as it is. If you need to buy anybody else, do it. Make sure that obviously you are putting in the minimum amount of rares if you can afford to do that. Sometimes the rares are cheaper, so make sure you are not getting swindled too much. Take a little bit of care with your coins, especially if you are not necessarily balling in coins, then that is going to be something you will definitely want to be doing. We get another board out of it. It's going to be Tillemans again. Always is. And what, this is like a perfect example, to be honest. So we get Stones, and we've also got another Leicester duplicate who is not tradable. So for instance, with the 84 and 83s, personally, what on earth is this? Thank you for your patience. Team resolved impact on your account. Not a clue, but I'm assuming that's where the 83 times 3 attackers came from. So if I don't want to do any of these players, I would literally just go ahead and go into the 80... Where is it? It's the Future Stars Academy upgrade. So it is requiring an 82 rated team. Again, if you can get away with commons, that is always perfect as well. We will try and whack in a few of the commons, because obviously we are trying to keep as many rares as possible in the club. Obviously, we've already done Prem there, so that is not a problem. And then we will go and whack our duplicate rares in. So for instance, we want Pereira, and basically just put anybody in that obviously you weren't going to be using for anything else other than the 81 double. So that should, and then change you, that's 81, and then more than likely if I change one more, that is absolutely spot on. So that will be it. That gives us a player pick and another step closer towards the left back. Again, if you want to just put them into a gold upgrade, that is more than fine as well. But this gives us a nice player back. So for instance, we've given up an 84 and 83. We've managed to get an 86 back. It's not a bad thing if you are grinding it like this. Then we have a final SBC to complete, very much like the Prem and all of the others. Just go ahead. I normally pick Serie A with this. It's just an easier one to do. I feel like I get a more spread of players as we go through this. So for instance, we'll go you, It looks like all of them are different teams, which is absolutely perfect. We will put Ibra into this as well, just as a side note, just to kind of remember, because he is very, very packable. And I want to say we've got a couple of these already in, but we'll just whack them in and we'll see what we can do with it. So, for instance, we go centre mid, we've got a centre back, we've got a couple of centre backs, we've got you there, goalkeeper. Then, so who have we already got? There is obviously 2 players there that we've got max of 1. I don't see it. It always takes me a minute. Where is it? We've got Udinese, I think that is. No. You've already spotted it. There it is. Of course it is. Perfect. So we only need 1 more player and we need just a little bit more of the chem. So for instance, for this, as we've got a lot of centre-backs, we are going to go with a goalkeeper. We do, I believe, need a rare as well, so we'll go to 750. Everybody's pretty cheap as it is at the minute. Nobody's really in a high value at the moment. And there you go, 1 card bought. And yes, it will take some time to get your club like that, but if you're doing rivals, if you're doing champs every week, your club should be pretty stacked as we go. Just as a side note for Marseille, who is the team I personally use for this, it's an easy one to get done. Personally, this is how I would do it. If I go to Marseille, should have went the other way around, we would then go ahead and whack in these. We've managed to get 3 of them. That is absolutely fine. I just normally finish it whenever I get chance, to be honest, because it's very easy to do. So we've, for instance, got the left back and left mid, which is always perfect for the commons. Then with, obviously, the gold rares, we will try and get them all. So, for instance, Payet, we get the brand new transfer, Guendouzi, I don't know why I struggled to say his name. There we go with them lot. And then we also need, I think, 2 more rare commons. So, for instance, we'll probably go with... We'll go with Bai because I know he's normally there straight away. And we'll go with a CDM. Just because then that, realistically, should be easily enough. A, the chem, and B, all of the players that we need in this. So, there we go. Centre-back, right mid... If you need to obviously change any positions, then that is absolutely fine, because obviously you should get the 5 position change every single day. But that is Marseille. I'd just go ahead and buy the rest of them and finish the SBC if I already hadn't finished that one before. If obviously you want to keep grinding to get them, then that is totally up to you. But personally, I would always get it done as quick as possible. So with the small rare, the small prime pack, personally, if there's anything worth anything in here, make sure you're selling it. We've got centre back. Is it going to be Stones again? But what I do with this one, for instance, is everything would be sold, because this is where we get some profit. With obviously Stones is coming in a little bit expensive because of multiple SBCs. We'd then sell all of the rares and all of the commons, obviously for a profit, which then would go back into the League SBCs. And the untradables is where we're going to get the extra fodder to go over to the upgrades. So Spanish again, right back. We're going to get Navas as an 83. Unfortunately, nobody massive in this. We've managed to get a couple of players at best. Then we can whack him up. We'll more than likely sell anything that's tradable, because that is just going to be the best way to grind this out. You want to just keep doing this, and what I would suggest is doing the League SBC until you get duplicates. If every time after you finish the League SBC you do one, you might find yourself at some point with not enough fodder and you ended up having to spend coins on the upgrade rather than just doing it naturally. So realistically, you want to just go from the League SBC. If you've packed everything, you've got nothing duplicate, nothing untradeable, then go do it again. If you find yourself after the second pack in, you've got yourself a duplicate, then obviously go and put it into this SBC. For instance, we will tend to use all of the players that are not League SBC bound, so we know that we've got all of these players ready for the next set, and we're not having to spend an absolute buttload trying to get it finished again. So for instance, this should be another set done, and we've probably got maybe one more set out of it, but we'll open this up first, because normally with these, you tend to get the same players. So you don't want to end up with duplicates with these, and it's why I always say, don't do it if you haven't got a duplicate, because if you open up this and you get a duplicate, you've got to figure out where you put it. We get Pellegrini in this one as an 84, and his counterpart is going to be Andre Silva. So Andre can go back into this, or it could go into the Future Star upgrade, which will give you an 82 plus player pick. Obviously, that one is always nice as well, but the 81 double, I think, is more of a fodder builder. I don't think, judging from the first 3, that they're designed to give you as much fodder as what the player picks did, because that was, to be honest, more lucky than ever I've ever seen before in player picks. we don't tend to get much out of them. Normally you get a handful of players, maybe a couple of walkouts, but it was like almost every single pick, or at least every two, there was a walkout out of it. So honestly, it's not terrible to do that. We've got 3 Wolves players, which most definitely we don't need 3 of them, so we'll go and use that as well. That is always something to consider with your Serie A and also Prem players, is if you've got 3 or 4 from the same team, whack one of them into the upgrade, because you're not going to use them all, and you more than likely will pack another one as you go through. We get another upgrade here. We get Pereira again, who unfortunately will go into an upgrade, but that is kind of the grind. It looks like they're not necessarily the most amazing fodder builders, but if you want to grind them as you go, they probably will give you something along the lines. We did manage to obviously get all boards, so that is, I suppose, a good sign. If we was getting 81 and 82s, then unfortunately that is a big L for them. But that's going to have to grind them. League SBCs into the upgrades, into future stars or players. Make sure you're selling the tradable, keep the untradeable and put them into the required upgrades, and just keep cycling round. Make sure you do like and subscribe on this, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.